Holtz, and today I have a special video. I am joining the Scrappy Sisters for their Scrap September, and we are doing a sketch. They chose this awesome sketch from Laura Whitaker, and I am going to be obviously making it a 2-page layout and turning it on its side. I recently picked up this 1Canoe2 Saturday afternoon paper pad. I have the 12 by 12 paper pad as well as a 6 by 8 paper pad, and then some of the embellishment pieces for it. So as you can see, I have turned the sketch, and I put the turned sketch up there in the right hand corner for you guys to check out. And I'm going to be using this green paper. I cut it at 4 by 12 to span across the entire page. And then I'm going to use this black paper that has words on it. I didn't measure it. I just wanted 2 lines of words. So it made it just a little bit smaller than 1 inch by 12 inch. And then I'm going to be using this paper here. If you guys have followed my channel at all, you'll know that I am not very much of a flower person. I tend to scrap a lot of boys, and so flowers are just not really my thing. But I did like the way that when I put these photos down, the different colors that started to peek through behind the photos. The photo itself, or the sketch itself, calls for what looks like a 4 by 6 photo in there. And I had these 2 photos that I cut down to 4 by 4, and it is of my friend jumping into the springs. And so I thought that that would be perfect. It does make that square just a little bit longer, or rectangle, a little bit longer than what a 4 by 6 would be. But I think that it turned out really great. I'm going to be using my Creative Memory circle cutter to cut out the circle that's going to go at the top. And I cut that circle a little big. I think that it really probably could have been a little bit smaller. So what I end up doing is just, instead of putting it in the placement where the sketch is, I move it up a little bit and have it cut off of the edge of the paper. So I'm going to use this 6 by 8 piece of paper in that stripe to go behind my photos. And then I'm going to use this dark paper here that has the triangles on it. And one of the things that I love about this 1Canoe2 is it has lots of fun springy colors with that green, mint green, and that pink color, and the orangey and the yellow color, but then it also has that rich colors of the navies and the dark blues and even the black in that word text paper. So I love the contrast between all of those. I do end up using my Gunsmoke, I think it's called, distress ink to distress all of the edges. And I'm going to put my photos up on fun foam so that it gives it a little bit of dimension behind the photos. I do put the fun foam on the pattern paper that's backing my photos, as well as that dark triangle paper. So here's where you'll notice that I go ahead and take that circle and take it off of the layout instead of putting it for a little bit further down where it calls for in the sketch. But I love the way that it turned out. So while I'm adhering all of this down, I do want to encourage you guys to go check out the Scrappy Sisters. I will post them below. What's amazing about this Scrap September 2019 that they are doing is they are putting out a video a day, and they have a special guest every day with it. So you, at the end of the month, will get at least 30 videos between what the Scrappy Sisters are putting out as well as what their special guests are putting out. So there's lots and lots of fun inspiration. They have lots of different prompts that can be used. So definitely check them out. I will link them down below. Today we actually have 2 special guests, so I will link the other person down below as well so you can check out their video. So you'll have 3 different ways that this sketch has been used for this particular sketch and how their layouts come together. So definitely go check them out. I went ahead and cut down, I had 3 photos to add to the right side of my paper, or the right side of my layout. And so I went ahead and cut them down to 5 inches. So they are 4 by 5. And I just went ahead and staggered them down a little bit. I used that same green paper and just expanded that band, that 4 by 12 band, all the way across the layout. And then that piece of circle that I ended up cutting off the top of my circle on the left hand side, I went ahead and added it to the right. So these photos do have a lot of dead space in them, but I wanted to keep a lot of that because you get to see all of the beautiful aspects of this springs. This is Waklua Springs in Tallahassee, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous spring. So I did overlap it a little bit to kind of cover up some of the white space that's in each of those photos, but I wanted to leave like the bridge in the background and the beautiful water because that's something that you can only get at the springs. So I had this cork piece sitting on my table, and it's from Ellie Studios, and it says the word today on it, and I really liked the way that that came out. And then I'm going through all of the embellishment pieces, and I pulled out a couple of different embellishment pieces. Because there were so many flowers in this embellishment pieces, I figured I would go ahead and work through those and get those done. So I pulled out 2 of the big flower clusters, and I'm going to use that. I decided that because I'm going to overlap this today on the flower part of it, instead of it having that flower peek through, I wanted a solid color to peek through. So I went ahead and backed it with some more of that pink paper, the same paper that I used to back my photos. So I just used a little bit of liquid adhesive and added that to the back of the cork, and then added that right there to my layout. Now my title is going to be Today, Good Vibes Only. And so the today piece there on that cork, and then the good vibes only from that ephemera piece that came from the die cuts. So I am loving, loving, loving the way that this is coming out. I did add that flower piece to the left there, or to the right hand side. I'm going to be having 3, well, really more than 3 clusters, because I have my today there with the title and that big flower. That's going to be one of my clusters. I'm going to start a cluster up there at the top with that playing card, with the ace playing card. I'm also going to have a cluster over there on the far right hand side with that flower, and then I'm going to build one down there where you see that little vine sticking out as well. So don't feel like you have to stick to 3 clusters. Stick to whatever works for you, because it's your layout and it's going to be beautiful. Went ahead and added the flip-flops there, and I pulled out my tag punch. I picked this up at Tuesday morning. I'll see if I can find it on scrapbook.com. If I can, I will link it below for you guys. I love this thing. It makes it really simple to make tags. I know that you could probably just trim off the edge and it be just as simple, but I can never cut a straight line. You'll notice that I use my trimmer as much as possible, and so I like having that small little trimmer, and then it has a little tiny hole punch. So it makes it just really easy. And like I said, I picked it up at Tuesday morning for very cheap. So it was definitely a good investment for me. So I added that. I tucked that in behind the flowers there. I went ahead and pulled out my embellishment book. I'll link that video below so that you can check it out if you haven't seen that yet. And I am just pulling out some of the embellishments that I think would work for this particular layout. I did add soaking up all these special moments in that little green tag. I put that between the 2 photos. I thought that was perfect for her jumping into the springs there, because she's definitely soaking up all those special moments. I had these tickets that I'm not sure where I got them, but it was like a book of tickets, and I really like that black, and it had a little bit of teal in it as well, so it pulls in that black from the left hand side of the layout. So now I'm just building up the clusters here. I did add this little tag right above on top of the vine there, and I'm just building it up with all of the different pieces that I have pulled from my embellishment book. So I do want to encourage you guys, if you see a sketch that you like, make sure that you make it work for what your layout is going to be. As you can see in the sketch there it does call for some stitching, a big circle stitching on the back. I omitted that. I just didn't want to add the stitching to my layout, so I didn't even add it, and you can't even tell, or it doesn't even look like it's missing anything in this layout. I also went ahead and turned it on its side. I didn't have any photos that would work for me in that orientation, and it's a little bit harder to take that type of sketch and make it into a 2-page sketch if you have a band going down the center as opposed to turning it on its side. So I could have absolutely done it that way and made a great layout for it. It would have been completely different. If you guys would like to see me use this same sketch without turning it and making it into a 2-page layout, make sure you let me know below. I will gladly put something together for that. Because I really do enjoy this sketch. I thought it was a really pretty sketch, and I'm glad that the Scrappy Sisters picked this sketch out for us to create. So I'm going to just finish up adding all of my different embellishments to this layout, and after I add all of my embellishments, I'm going to do, I am going to put the date on it. I just went ahead and put the year 2013. I do have a little sticker that says April, so at least I have the year and the month on it. And then, of course, the last thing that I'm going to do is to add my title, or add the place where it's at, which is Waklua Springs. And I did pick up these foam stickers. They're Hobby Lobby brand stickers, and they're in foam. And I love the color, that peach color. I think that it works perfectly for this layout. So make sure you go and check out the Scrappy Sisters. I will have them linked below. Make sure you check out all of their videos. They have tons and tons of videos this month for you guys to check out, a video a day. Here is my final layout and some close-ups. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more double-page layouts, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because that's all you're going to get on my channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.